Hello, my friends. I am back, and we have just finished reading The Westing So I was really excited to share this book with you guys, which is why I picked it for the first one to read on my channel. I think I first read it in 4th or 5th grade myself, and I've reread it a bunch of times, including as a teenager and as an adult. And I really believe that this book is one of the best mystery novels of all time, including books that are written for grown-ups, including really famous books. This one, I think, is one of the best. So my copy of The Westing comes with some questions in the back, and I'm not going to read them all to you because that would kind of be a waste of time, but I picked out some of my favorites and I added a couple of my own, and I would love for us to start a discussion about this book, because in my classroom we do book clubs and we read the book together just like we did on here, and we talk about it and we discuss. But since we're not in person right now, since it's the summer, we're not going to be doing like a classroom book club, so I thought I would give you guys some questions to think about and answer if you want to. So I'm going to put my email up on the screen. Here it is. It's readwithmisschaumont@gmail.com. That's the email I made specifically for this channel. So I would love for you guys to send me an email with your thoughts on the book. You can answer the questions, you could not answer the questions, you could just tell me what you think. It doesn't matter. I just would really, really like to hear from you. Alright, so my first question for you is, what did you think of the ending? And were you surprised? So that can either be like the ending where they wrap up and talk all about the different characters and what they go on to do with their lives, or you can just talk about the mystery. So normally when I read a lot of mysteries and books that have mysteries in them, and I am always kind of trying to figure out the mystery and see if I can beat the characters to it. In this book, the first time I read it, I was completely shocked. I never would have guessed, even though there were some really good hints that if you go back and read it when you already know the answer, there were some really good hints, but it's so surprising to me what the answers end up being. I think everything ties together really well. I really like the ending of this book, but I want to know what you guys think. Alright, my second question comes from the questions in the back of this book. It says, Turtle, or T.R. Wexler as she came to be called, always kept her secret about Sam Westing, even from her own family, including her husband Theo. Why do you think she kept the secret? And what would you do in her shoes? Can you imagine keeping such a secret from the people most important to you? So, I want to know what you guys think about that, but I'll tell you really quick what I think. And to me, that's amazing. It totally fits with Turtle's character because she's so stubborn. She always wants to do things her way. She wants to, she makes up her mind and she sticks to it. Just like how she claimed to be the bomber even though it was actually Angela, right? A similar kind of thing. But I wasn't surprised that Turtle never told anybody about Sandy, Sam, Julian Eastman, right? That whole situation. But if it was me, I would so not be able to keep that secret. I'm really impressed with Turtle's commitment to her quiet about that secret. Alright, my next question for you also comes from this book. Why do you think Sam Westing set up this elaborate game? And do you think it turned out as he hoped? I thought that was a really good question because I never really thought about it, but really, why did he set up the elaborate game, right? Because at first the judge was thinking, oh, it's to punish Crow, but is that really what ended up happening? Is that really why he did it? I don't know. I'm really interested to hear what you guys think about that because that's something I had never really thought about before. Alright, and the next question I have for you is, most of this book takes place in the Sunset Towers apartment building. How does this location affect the story? And can you imagine this story in another setting? In what other kinds of places could a story like this take place? So I picked that question to ask you guys because I know we talk about setting when we talk about plot and all of that kind of stuff in class, so it's something important to talk about in books in general. But I thought that was a really good question because I never really thought about it, but when you really think, this book takes place in Sunset Towers, in the Westing house, and a little bit on the road to and from, right? Like when Theo and Doug are following Otis Amber, But other than that, and in the hospital for a little bit. But the vast majority, most of the book, takes place in Sunset Towers. Why do you think the author, Ellen Raskin, decided to keep the book in like one central location like that? There's even a part where they were snowbound. They were stuck in the tower. They couldn't leave. So everybody was there. I think part of the reason is that since there are so many characters, it really helps us to see how they interact and how they're interconnected. And it helps kind of reveal the mystery, like piece by piece. But what do you guys think? Because I think there's more to it than that. And the next part of that question was, what other kinds of places could have a story like this? And I really want to know your answer to that because you guys are a really creative bunch. All right, I also want to know, as you were reading, which of the heirs did you trust the most? And who did you find the most suspicious? Explain why you judge them as you did. So, like I said before, when you read a mystery, you're kind of trying to figure out that mystery in your head, right? Like, even if you're not trying on purpose, your brain is just working, and you're thinking and piecing clues together. And sometimes you might be like, oh, I think I might know what's about to happen, right? You're like making predictions in your head. You're using the inferences that you make to see if you can get to the mystery just a little bit before the characters. I always get really excited when I can do that because I feel like, yes, I'm a real detective, right? But in this one, like I already told you, I could not do that. But even while I was reading, I was thinking about like, there were some characters that I was like, you're 100% telling the truth. I believe everything you say. Nothing you're doing is suspicious, right? But there were some other characters I was like, I don't know everything about you yet. I don't know what to think. You could be the answer to the puzzle, right? When we thought there was a murderer, right? You could be the murderer. I don't know, right? I'm not going to tell you who I thought was most suspicious and who I trusted most because I want to hear your opinion first. But if you send me an email, I'll tell you what I thought in response to your email. All right, and my last question for you is, who was your favorite character in this book and why? So this book had tons of characters, right? Like at first it's kind of hard to keep track of them all because there's so many, but you really start to get to know them, and I want to know who your favorite was and why they were your favorite. I don't know if that's a hard question, and I know I asked you the question, but I don't know if I can really pick an answer. But I will tell you that I really liked Chris because he always tried to see the best in everybody, and people really underestimated him, but he had some key information, like when he saw the limper limping into the Westinghouse, right? And he didn't talk too much, like he wasn't a super important character, but I thought he was cool. He seems like somebody I'd want to hang out with. But I also really liked Turtle. I liked her spunk and her attitude, and I liked how committed she was to finding her answers, even if it wasn't always the right answer in the first place. Like, I liked Turtle. All right, so those are my questions for you. I'm going to put them down in the description box under the video too, so that if you forget, you don't have to like watch this whole thing of me rambling about how much I like this book. You can just read it down there. But I would really, really, really love for you to send me an email with your answers to the questions, one of them, all of them, and I'll respond back and let you know what I think too, okay? So stay tuned, because in my next video, we're going to start another book, and I'm so excited about that one. All right, bye guys.